All right. So, today it is time for part 8 of the city naming challenge. We are doing 4 states, and those 4 states are going to be Oregon, Washington, Hawaii, and Alaska. So, pretty much the Pacific, apart from California. I'm saving California for last. It's going to be its own part, just because I love California so much, and I can name that's the state I know the most in. Very beautiful part of the country. It's home of one of the states I still haven't been to, Hawaii, but that's probably my most desired state to go to. But Hawaii is also the state I know the least in. So why don't we start with, actually, well, we're going to start with all the cities I missed first. So randomly, I missed, this is way back in like the first episode, I missed Aiken, South Carolina, which is near Augusta. And then there's 2 Snyders. There's Snyder, Texas, and Snyder, Oklahoma. And then I forgot what one of the other ones was that I put there. Damn. But Las Vegas, New Mexico was one of them. When I review the footage, I'm going to go back and put it so it'll happen off screen. But trust me, I knew about it anyway. So let's get started with, let's just do Oregon first. Then move up to Washington, then hit Alaska, then Hawaii. Save the worst for last. So Oregon, Portland. Pretty much the most democratic city in the country. Beaverton, Gresham, Hillsborough. So we've got either side, and then that. Yeah, we've got the middle, then right, then left. Astoria, Coos Bay, Gold Beach. Those are the only coastal towns I know. Burns. Okay, and Bend are the 2 towns I know in the middle. Bend is pretty big, actually. Burns is tiny. Now let's move down. Salem, Eugene, Springfield. That's where, that could be where The Simpsons is set. Because Matt Groening is from Oregon. Corvallis, which is in between them. Medford. Oh my gosh. Grants Pass, Klamath Falls. Not sure who Grant was, and I'm not sure what Klamath is, but they're both in Oregon. There's a town called Cascadia. What the hell was that? That might have been the music for these videos. Oh, that's kind of everything I know. Oregon. There's not really much else. It's not many cities. Yeah, only 17. Well, what can you do? I've driven through Oregon, but that was a long time ago. I think we stayed in a town called Yachats. I guess it doesn't count it. Either way, we have on the Washington, which I do know a bit more of. Let's start west of Washington. Spokane Valley, almost feel spooky. Walla Walla, Pullman, the Tri-Cities, Kennewick, Richland, Pasco, on the other side of the river, Yakima, Electric City, Elk, and Ashford, which are both near Mount Rainier. Cooper, which is a Portland suburb, Long Beach, Raymond, Forks, Fort Angeles, it's all kind of your coastal stuff, Bellingham, Concrete, weird town name, not sure why it's called that, Olympia, Tacoma, Seattle, obviously, awesome city, recommend going. It was ranked the most boring city in America on some random list. I'm not sure what crack they were smoking when they put together that list, but do not listen to the list itself was just stupid, but Seattle at number 1 was so retarded. I think it was like global cities too, which is the stupidest thing ever. Either way, Everett, which is north of Seattle, Bellevue, Kirkland, that's where Costco's from, Redmond, Auburn, Federal Way, Kent, and Renton. It may be it for Washington. That's a fair amount. It's probably in the 20s. Yeah, almost 30. I think I'm going to move on from Washington because that's a pretty good amount. I actually knew a little bit of Seattle suburbs, which is pretty cool. Alright, let's go to Alaska. That's just actually instead of actually have been to. Some of the craziest places I've ever been to in my life. We went on a cruise with my cousins. First stop in that cruise was Ketchikan. Oh, still set to freaking Washington. Alaska. Ketchikan. Juneau, capital. Sitka. Oh, another. I guess our cruise ship went really far through the channel. I didn't know that. Skagway, right next to BC. Wrangell. Petersburg. Gustavus. That's all you got. This is a panhandle? I don't know what that is. It's just a little bit of islands that stretch down. Otherwise, we can go to Anchorage. Palmer. Kenai. Houston. Ooh. Wasilla. Seward. Seward, please. Cordova, which is on this side. Whittier, so the cruise stopped. Homer. Valdez. Fairbanks, which is up north. Eagle. Chicken, they like their birds up in Central Alaska next to Yukon. North Pole. Now they're very far north. Barrow, which is the northernest town in the country, or Utqiagvik. I butchered that name, but I can't imagine living there. That's crazy. You don't get any sunlight, and it's always snow. Very depressing. Wainwright and Prudhoe Bay. That was Prudhoe Bay, that's Wainwright. Mixed them up. Nome. Kodiak, which is on the island on Alaska. St. George. St. Mary's, which are these two islands. Oh. Okay, I didn't know St. Mary's is inland. I thought it was an island, but St. Paul is the one next to St. George. That's a decent bit, mostly around Anchorage. To be expected. It's 30. Wow, 30. I got more Alaska cities than Washington. That's very funny. Well, I'm happy with that. So I think we move on to my worst state by far, and that is Hawaii. I think if you ever play this game, and unless you're from Hawaii or have extensively traveled it, this is probably going to be your worst state. Because there's just so many confusing names, because it's all Hawaiian, and there's just not a lot of cities either. I mean, obviously, most people know Honolulu, Pearl City, which is where Pearl Harbor is. East Honolulu, that's just easy to remember because it's a direction in the name. Pahu, Kailua. I think I know one. What's the town called? Is this Lanai? The little one? I know a town called Princeville there. It's a golf course. That's really annoying that tab keeps popping up for the music. It's on my YouTube editor. I forgot to close it down. Let's see, behind the scenes, I guess. Lahaina. It's on Maui. I know that. Those were the wildfires were last year, 2 years ago. Then the Big Island, Hawaii, is Hilo. Mountain View, Captain Cook. And I'm pretty sure that's everything. How many is that? That's 10. Just as many as Rhode Island. I'm fine with that. That's more than I used to know, so 10. I feel like I'm just proud of myself even knowing 10 cities in Hawaii when most people probably can only name one. I'm just proud of myself for knowing this in general. But look at this map, dude. It is completely filled except for our one big gap, California. This is going to be, I don't know how this either is going to be a really short or really long episode, or longer, probably for average time. It could be shorter depending how fast I type, but then there's so many I have to remember. And also going to be thinking a lot more for this episode. This next episode, since I'm trying not to I could just spend the whole video just blurting out cities. But I feel like that's not really counting as knowing them. Because I won't even know where they are. Say I'm just naming random crap. I try to name all the cities, and the suburbs around it. I try to know their general location. Yeah, so that actually helps me remember it more. So I'll be struggling to remember all this stuff in the Bay Area. And then probably in Orange County in the Inland Empire. But I'll get into that more for the next episode. Oh my gosh, why am I zooming so far out? So I think this is the last, this is the end of this video. This is a quick one. Not that quick. I spent a while yapping at the end, but hope you guys enjoyed and stay tuned for the final episode, California. Peace.